Hello and welcome. Right, how well did we do in the session? Right, that's Courseplay thrashing the map. Yeah, definitely. When it starts to judder. FS19 and FS22 are even worse than this, though. They really, really juddered when Courseplay was doing some, like, when it was trying to work out where the trader was or try and figure things out. It used to do this juddering that was so bad that you could hardly... Well, this is pretty much on par with it, really. I've got autosave switched on because since the 1.5 update and the 1.500 whatever 1 update, the game is crashing and it's losing sessions, doing strange things, and the menu still isn't fixed. So it's actually just made matters worse. Oh my life. What is this about? Wow. That's from I think that's from when I went out of the game to check that my recording was recording, and then when I came back in, it started to, like, be really bad. Yeah, it's almost, it hadn't fully come into the game. That's better. That is better. It could still have been Courseplay as well, but I'm not sure that it was in this particular time. So yeah. So what have we done this session? Well, we've only done 2 of the fields. Well, this one, the workers said they'd finished, so I actually just grabbed the parsnips, took them to the thing, and it was only when I grabbed the parsnips after setting that gun that I thought, hang on a minute, that's far from done. So we've done this field, and we've also done field 62, and that's all we've done. We are next session going to do 60 and 61, which are the bigger 2, but I thought we'd just get these lot done. We also bought the potato header for doing the potatoes, and that's done. Now, we did the animals last session, so they're really happy. And oh, that's right, yeah, we have. We've only got cows on this particular let's play, haven't we? Although when I say only cows, I'm quite pleased about that we have actually got those. So yeah, Frankenmuth is where we're going after we've finished Riverbend Springs, and it will be as soon as we've finished all of our crops and gone through till next March. I'm quite happy that that's where we're going to leave it, more for anything than the fact that it's the meshes. It's very ugly the way that it is at present. It's really, really terribly ugly. So yeah, it really is as simple this session as actually just saying all we've done is these 2 fields and bought a potato header. That's all we've done, really. It's nothing else. I've been whinging about how let down I feel about the way that we've been treated by Giants, and I do definitely concur that I really do feel more let down. I mean, this is my 3rd iteration at FS, and I mean, Giants is not a unique company. You know, like lots of companies don't tell. It's not right. It doesn't make it morally right or anything like that. The way that we get treated nowadays, whether it's by Google or Microsoft, they all do this very bad form where they don't sort of tell us things. I mean, Apple too, bumper gates. Oh no, we haven't got any problem with our phones at all. And then they issued bumpers to all of the customers who'd got that phone. Well, if there was no problem, why would you do something like that? But why lie about it? Why not admit it? Everybody knew it was like that. And obviously, I'm not just having a go at Apple, but it's the truth. So I don't particularly care. It's not saying anything libelous or anything that isn't true. It's totally truth. Everybody knows it, and that's what I'm saying. Giants is the same. We don't get press releases. We will get news through DJ Gohan by FS News, which, although it's fantastic of DJ to do it, it's not his place to do it. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I am very grateful to DJ for doing it. But what I mean is, really, as the makers of the game, they should be the ones to actually be telling us and releasing press releases to say that things aren't right. It just isn't morally or in any way, shape or form right at all. So we'll set this gun on the carrots first. Not now, but I mean, we'll take that down. parsnips, I should show you how well we did. We also stuck some directly into the last load went. In fact, actually, I think no, I stopped it just to that point. Yeah, we just done the taken the last load of parsnips to that. Let's just set this going. We may as well do this one. Actually, show you field 61 because every little bit helps. As Tesco says. Only I keep going into that menu because that's where it used to be hiding. Takes some getting used to when you've field 61. I don't think we've done 61. I think we did it. No, we didn't. So field 61. Generate. Perfect. So create new folder. Yeah, it doesn't do it by pressing the button. 61. Save course for meters. Enter. And we'll set you going out the first. And we will go and just quickly have a look at... Yeah, I coloured that brown, the new header. I thought I didn't want to get them mixed up by doing that one black and red, even though I love the colours. I just thought it was, yeah, in fact, we can actually... No, let's jump into a tractor because I don't want to be dragged around the field as well. Yeah, so let's have a look. How well did we do? So they've just put some parsnips into this, so that's got more parsnips than it did have a few minutes ago. Yeah, really very close to the finish. Red beets, we can see... Yeah, we are... Bearing in mind we're going through 2 or 3 months at a time in some of these sessions, it's not surprising it goes down by quite a lot, but they definitely potatoes, obviously I'm very grateful for the fact that we're just going to chuck a load in. Is a fairly hefty field as well, so that's good. But really that is it. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. But yeah, the end is in sight for this. That is all I'm going to say. But obviously the sessions are a bit like any maps when they get large. Sessions are going to be fairly hefty. Still at least 3 or 4 sessions, at least 3 or 4 fairly hefty sessions to get all of the harvest in and to sort of see how it actually goes at the very end, how well we did. I think, to be honest, we're going to have done very, very well. Really, really well on this. Bearing in mind also, I heard really is quite respectable now. Yeah, we may just get those births in before... Yeah. And there's no point in me putting the manure point now because I've done it now until... Did we stick it down here, actually, thinking about it? Oh, we may actually have already done it here. But we did, it's there. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, no longer connected to. So it is in no way, shape or form any better than it was before. It's broken, so I'm very glad that I've actually made a mod that actually converts slurry to manure and gives you a bonus, because it isn't right that we basically use our slurry to create manure, but I've actually done the mod because it's not fair. This is not. We shouldn't need to do things like that, but obviously we do. All we've got is, I mean, we're 2 months in. You'd expect these, like, one thing you would expect is that Giants would not keep making matters worse, and it really is terrible now. So yeah, anyway, yeah, no more moaning. I apologise. It's just, I must admit, I was saying throughout the session, my heart is very heavy over this. It's sort of like really is quite, because you keep being promised, oh yeah, things are going to get better. This one's going to address, oh, it's going to do things for console more, but it is going to address issues. Well, I should hope it is. We've got lots of issues. I should hope it is going to address some, but instead of addressing issues, if it is addressed any issues at all, it may be slightly graphical glitches, although we can see on the roof of that shed across the road that I think the weight of the game is a little heavy for my laptop, so I'm going to knock the settings down to standard 4K from really high-end 4K in the hope that just takes the edge off. Obviously, it's a heavy game anyway, so I mean, it's enough for any... I mean, my laptop is more than capable, but sometimes you've got to rein your settings in. I did an FS25 a little bit as well, so yeah, you've got to... yeah, autosave is on as well. Right, it's got past it itself, so that's fantastic. So, all that remains to be said is, I really do hope that you enjoy the rest of the session. Right, and so it begins. Oh, one thing I want to do before we start is we've got to switch autosave on. We have problems. We do. Yeah, it's had a crash for the first time since the very beginning of the game. Since there's another little tiny update after the 1.5 update. It's like 0.01, and it also did another update this morning, a little tiny one. So it's. Yeah, I went on Calmsden and there's like errors. It was visible that it lost some data. We went into one of the productions and it was showing the wrong information. I was like, that's a bit odd. I'm sure we had 8,000 litres in last session. But I thought nothing of it. I thought, well, this is me. I've probably forgotten. It's not going to be right. So now then, I know you're going to totally ignore any kind of rule. So I didn't think anything of it, and then later in the session I thought I'd figured it out. I thought it obviously crashed and burned, and 2 or 3 times I tried to like go back on, the last time without the camera sort of showing, to try to figure out what was wrong. What are you doing? And basically we couldn't see anything, and I thought, oh, I reckon it's when I play around with the straw, it's that does it. It's not, it's random, totally random. It's almost like the game's stretching. There's not enough memory, or since the update it's done something. It didn't fix the newer either, which was the one thing I really hoped it would do, but it didn't fix that at all. It broke, and the timing, like we've seen so far, you go back in and it's no longer connected to, so it didn't fix it. Now if within the session it worked, now it did always anyway, so that's absolutely no different. The meshes are still, as we can plainly see, broken on any Giants map. So instead of this new update, this quite large update, making things better, actually, it's made things worse. Because now I've got to switch the... Literally, I have no idea what is happening. I thought it might be my mods. I thought perhaps it might turn the sound down a little, because I have got a very quiet voice. And this is a very noisy bit of kit. Yeah, so I sort of thought it's perhaps my mods. So I worked up most of the morning on fixing all of the errors, none of which were serious. They were all silly things like I've got a really bad habit of going into way too great a detail. I was talking to my wife about me being Marmite, and she said, well, yeah, that's possibly true. And she says, and you do go a little bit too like deep into things. I said, yeah, that's me definitely too. I do definitely go too deep into things, and it is true. I try to explain, try to keep things, but I always tend to really complicate things. So bottom line is, there is obviously a lot broken. Instead of making matters worse, we've now got instead of making matters better, Giants have made matters worse. And again, you sort of always begin to think, well, I'm modding, is it me that's like modding, is it my mods that are doing it? So I worked on those first, but it's got absolutely nothing to do with that. Now Calmsden's a big map, and Oxygen David has stretched it a little. I mean, as in, like, it really takes a lot of memory. So whether there's something in the map, and that's why I thought, well, I'm going to go on different maps, but I'm going to switch on autosave on all Let's Plays, because I'm just not risking losing. I've been on for that particular one for about 2 hours. It's always the long sessions, always when you like push it and think, let's just like get a little bit more done. That all my life, that always bad things happen. So of course, typically it did. Then this morning I thought, about dinner time, let's have another go. And again, this time I switched to autosave on, and it got 3/4 of the way through, and then it crashed and burned again. So luckily I'd only lost 15 minutes, which is not the end of the world. But again, I thought, well, you can't keep going on Calmsden at the minute, whatever this problem is, whether it is the map or whether it is I mean, I think it's the game personally. I really don't think, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Calmsden. There are a few really minor little things where there's like you're hitting, obviously Oxygen David is allowing you to edit things, as in like remove things. So I basically said, well, let's sell that and let's put this back in. So it allowed me to do it, but there are still collisions left when you've done that. So it's not perfect. There's a few glitches, which of course Oxygen David will fix, no doubt. I really think this is down to the game itself. It's I think it's a Giants issue rather than a Oxygen David issue. So, but I thought, well, the thing is, I'd like to come on other maps too. I've switched off DLSS because it seems to cause more glitches with graphics than anything else. And they get, although you can see in the background, there's weird fractals going on, which is again something you didn't see before. I can't recall ever seeing issues like that. Right, I'm just going to check what kind of resources this is using, because you will only see but you won't hear any sound for a minute. I'm just going to check, like, make sure that nothing's running dangerously. Now CPU's running at 15%. Memory, I've got a lot of memory and it's running at 39%, and this is a heavy game. So performance, how about GPU? GPU is running at utilization. Oh, sorry, it's the NVIDIA is running at 67% encoding, which is obviously my stream, and it's got 8 gig of dedicated, and it's running at 96% 3D, which, yeah, it's a lot. Shared GPU memory 15.6 gigabytes. Right, so it's able to bleed into, but it's not. It is high though. It's definitely high. Let's apologise. The thing is, obviously, you've got to figure out whether is it your kit? Is it your kit? Is it something you've done? Is it? The other thing that is a bit weird, I've never seen this before, and that is it's like every single time you come on to now, it's supposed to recompile the shaders, and it's supposed to say that, or has always done so before. The first time you go on the map, Giants have always made a big song and dance about this on the first time, just so as you know that it's going to be slower the very first time you come in. But the trouble is, every time you go into a map now, it says recompiling shaders. Well, that's new, and that can't be right or good, because that sort of means if that is the first time you come into the game, which it is, if it says that every time, it means it's going to be slower than normal anyway, every single time you come into the game, which that you didn't get. I am tempted again, as I did last week, to knock it back to 1.4, because until this is fixed, I thought, well, I'll just... excuse me. I've been on Blender. Excuse me. Watched an FS landscaping video that really made Blender look simple. The only trouble is with Blender is, even with FS landscaping, I had to give up after a bit, because although what he showed was fantastic and it really is brilliant, he's put in a nutshell. You press a key and all of a sudden something disappears on Blender, and I could no longer see where my it obviously wants you to see like the meters, how big things are, and all of a sudden that disappeared, and I'm like, well, I've not really pressed anything, why is that disappeared? So I saved it, reloaded it, and I thought, you know, sometimes you're just not in the mood for this type of thing. You need to be, when you're learning something new, and especially as you get older, you've got to be in the right frame of mind. And I think I'm really secretly stressed about, obviously, the game being such an absolute disaster. So yeah, well, I think we're going to take over ourselves. I do, because this is vegetables and we can't really do much damage, thank goodness. You know, that was one strange thing as well. I had a potato harvester, the one that's just been split, that is a DeWolf, and it also does potatoes, but now it's been split into 2 separate machines. Now I rolled, it's got a massive wheel, almost like a flotation tyre, and I accidentally rolled onto the crop and it didn't crush the potatoes. So much so that I had to go in my settings and make sure, well, have I got like damage? Have I unticked it that damage is on? Because I always have crop damage on, always, and frequently damage a little bit of the crop, which is always a danger, obviously, of the game anyway. But I always keep that on because it keeps you honest, I always think. So basically I checked that and it was on, so I thought, well, how come I didn't crush the crops and I've got these whacking great like flotation tires? Are these sort of classed as some sort of special narrow or what? I mean, I'm grateful that we never did anything, but what I'm saying is it did sort of shock me a little bit. Right, let's just drop this up while we pass it. It would just seem a little bit silly that we're nearly full and we don't actually do this. Yes, I'm on Riverbend Springs, and as we've seen with the meshes are still awful. So I've got to be honest, this is now turning into something quite different. Almost, I feel like going back to FS22, because even though it was not completely right, it's definitely better than FS25. I really can totally understand why people don't want to shift to FS25 just yet. I mean, yeah, it's a debacle. It really is. This thing's not being fixed, but not only not being fixed, but also then being made worse. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Right, we ought to, yeah, it's true. And we're going to a time lapse, and also we're going to let the worker carry on because we have got work to do. Yeah, I can't do everything. That's the trouble. Yeah, I've of course played this. So I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals. There's nothing more to say. I'll just whinge all the entire session, and it don't solve anything. It is a debacle. I think everybody knows it's a debacle, and it's not really impressing anybody. It's, I mean, to me, yeah, I suppose before I do go into the, you know, we all paid, and it's not a cheap game, and we are willingly, for the hours of fun that I've had on FS19 and the hours of fun on FS22, and the fact that obviously I create content, you know, you want to get it early, and you know, I've faced it with FS19, I've faced it with FS22, you know Giants well enough to know it's not going to be perfect. This is not like that good. This is just terrible. This is worse than FS19, and that I've got to be honest, FS19 was a terrible start. FS22 I thought was a little bit smoother, but still there were plenty of glitches to be fixed. But like FS25, it just gets better and better. It's supposed to fix something. I mean, they did a little bit of that. I mean, manure was broken at the back end of FS22 and it never got fixed. Never. It always was hit and miss. It sometimes, some sessions it'd work, then it wouldn't work. It never did this where it was broken and you couldn't, it was not connected to anymore. That's a new one. But it did break. There's no denying that fact. It's and again, that to me was really annoying because I paid for a game. FS19 was finished. I always thought that at the very end of FS19, I thought, there's not really much, I thought to myself, that actually I could say was terrible about FS19 at the end. Of course, the game itself was flawed, as in, like, yeah, bunker silos were terrible. You know, you used to get caught on the shape of the, I forget what the proper term is. I'm a bit mad. I'm steaming a little bit, if I'm honest, about the whole situation. Just feels so terribly let down, more so than ever before by Giant Software. You sort of get used to it, but in another way you don't. Well, we do need to send somebody down to pick the potato header. Not that we'll be doing it this session, but we may as well actually get this, get it started, definitely. Right, yeah, I'm going to go into that time. It is true. Oh, okay. I really don't. Jokes never bother with that. They're just so. They're just, yeah, they are. I always thought they're totally. I just don't care that if I ever get any badges on this game at all. It just seems totally silly, really. But hey ho, right? We don't want you, but you are close enough to what we do want. Let's grab you. Now then, I'm not sure whether this hitch is the right one to grab. Now we have got plenty of trailers. Where? I think we stuck it. I think we stuck at the other side of the. I was going to say I'm going to hit that. It is weird when you're angry how. Yeah, so I was trying to make under FS Landscaping's fantastic tutorials, trying to make a. Oh, it's over there. No, that's the other header. Where have we put the trailers? Yeah, I was trying to make a shed. A simple shed, as he called it. Why is my indicator not coming up? Because my side panel is definitely on. Oh, it is. This is the one that's really hidden. It's in the worst possible place that you could ever put an indicator for a content creator for you to see it. That's what I mean. You never can see it. Ah, it's up there, but I think it's a lorry one, isn't it? I think we'll probably just about manage to get this on the actual bed itself. Like, even if it leans a little bit, we've got telehandlers and that we can grab them off with. So, oh, there is definitely fractals when you look at the fields in places. It could be that it's pushing my rig. You see, I'm trying this at full 4K, not like, so I might be pushing my machine to the point where it really is almost, you know, at its limits, and that's never a good sort of place to be. So that's why I switched DLSS on, because I realised that it was really, it's very, very, let's just set you, oh no, we don't want you, we want, escape. No, we don't want you at all. We want me, which should be what's already. So if we set that down at the sharp, yeah, I'm glad you did stop, because I wasn't really. It's weird, isn't it, when your heart's not in something. You know, when you, oh come on, for heaven's sake. Right, let's just. And it doesn't even press enter. It just shows enter, and you've got to press the mouse. It's crazy. Right. Anyway, yeah, time to say. I apologise for my frame of mind, but I've got to be honest. I am really steaming about this. It's broken and breaking, and like, oh, it's just so terrible. It's really not a pleasure. I am so close to. I mean, I've said it before. I did in FS22. I'm so close to throwing in the towel. You know, going back to FS19. But you do carry on. There is no going back, really. You've made the choice. And there are some good things about the game, only obviously not really. I mean, what I mean is you can see the potential, but when there's a volatility to the sort of extent where the game could crash at any moment and is likely to, you sort of, it's like treading on eggshells. So I would imagine that's, yeah. To get there ourselves. Right, let's set this going and let's investigate. No, I don't know. Excellent. Right, let's grab this header, at least for next session. Yeah, well, it'll be still the same month, and that's what I'm. Yeah, but I am definitely going from this to Frankenmuth, even though I'm really not sure of what I'm going to expect on any map at all. But I do think I'm probably going to take this down to lower end 4K if we're going to switch DLSS off. But you can see the meshes. The grass is just such a mess. It really is, on any Giants map. I'm not Zilonka, obviously I've finished the Let's Play a while back, but I'm leaving it open for if you guys and gals wish me to do another year, I will carry on. I've left that option on all of the maps because I'm, especially on the Giants maps, really ready to come off them. Right, so we want, it is Potato Technology, and it is that one. Should we buy it? Yeah, let's buy. Want to make it a different colour though, so it's fairly obvious from like what it is that we know what it is. Oh, actually, that looks quite nice with yellow. Yeah, we will indeed buy it. Yeah, we're not going to lease it anymore. That's fine. Let's grab this and let's grab the tractor, which is an absolute shed load of distance away. Yeah, it's just typical. It's sort of taken the shine off this because this is, if I'm honest, my favourite map of all the Giants ones. I love this. It is fantastic. But with all these horrible meshes, it really is terrible. And I've triple checked my... Oh, right, okay, we need to be setting you across the road then. That is, of course, the most important job of the session. Yeah, so in a way, I suppose those two fields aren't too bad. That's not really what I wanted, but there you go. yeah, sort of it's very rare in life I'm ever peeved, and that is just how I would describe my sort of state of mind and emotional state at present. Is I just am totally peeved with the entire situation. It's just, and I suppose the other thing is it's always been and Giants are not going to change. They do not let you know what's happening. They're quite happy to let all of the content creators keep mentioning things, like releasing. I mean, they well know that DJ Goham's like FS News, and they're quite happy with that unofficial news source being the news source that actually tells us all what is actually happening. But really, that's not truthfully good enough. Really, it should be the makers of the game that apologise and actually explain to their customers, we are not DJ Goham's customers, we are Giant Software customers, really should explain what is happening. So I don't think we've even got this one. It is 62. I don't think we've got 62 written. Yes, we have. We've already done this. Fantastic. Right, save it. No, my bad. We want to do first. And right. Huh? No, she's happy. That was me pressing the normal worker. Because obviously we know that the normal worker does not like that at all for some reason. Yeah, my modding is coming on pace. It is, and I've fixed almost all of my errors that I found so far. That was another thing that I noticed, and to begin with, as you do, you sort of suspect, oh, it's me. It'll be me. It's my mistake. I'm new at modding. But I've got to be honest. I've worked very hard at the modding, and obviously it is my job already to be scripted and all the rest of it. So it's not like I'm a novice. I already am in that world. It's it's not like somebody who really hates that kind of thing. It's my job. I do it day in, day out, that kind of thing in the first place. So I'm not a stranger to it. Right, let's stick these away in here. So, I mean, it's like all such things. I know, Lambo Mods and also Farmer Bob. I've literally watched their videos, and now I think in time, when I'm not peeved, but with FS Landscaping's assistance, that I will actually master how to make a shed, and I've got a couple of things that I think the biggest thing was I'm gonna go and do what my wife says. I'm gonna go into things and bore everyone to tears. So let's just leave it. Yeah, it's not in the right frame of mind for. Right, okay, time-lapse time, I think. Yeah, we'll see you guys and gals on the other side. think I'm going to leave it at that. Although, oh no, I've still got that other field. Yeah, I don't know why it said it had finished the other field, because obviously when I took the lorry, I thought, well, that's far from finished. So we'll just finish that other field, and then I'm going to like do the potatoes and the carrots next session. I suppose it's one way that we can look. I'm trying to stay positive. I am. It's no good just whinging about things, even though, you know, you really do feel like it, and well, we are let down. There's no feel like you let down. We are definitely let down. Yeah, I'll do those other two fields next session, and I suppose by that measure, you realise how large the farm has grown from the single big field that we had initially. We have the grass field as well, but what I mean is, from those humble beginnings, we've now got a lot of fields in a concentrated area where we can't do it in just one session. So let's just get this back, just finishing that bit on. It would be my fault. That's why I switched the view to see where we got to before, because I must have started it at close to the end, so it really wasn't telling a lie. It's just that I think it needed to be on the far side where we can see, and then it works inwards to this point where it finished. So anything with courseplay, you've got to like. So if we stick this about here and say next thing, it's definitely on the inner. Oh, well, it would be if it was on the right one. Yeah, we've just like swapped it over. So we want 58, I think. Yeah, we do. And 4 meter clear load. And I used to say activate. So I'm still used to doing that. It's so right. So nearest and go. We'll leave that, and we're going to like go and investigate and like tip that lot back in. So we've got our own potato header. Again, I suppose the other thing is with any of that space, you can always tell when it's advanced, especially in hard economy, when you've got 250 grand in the bank and you've just bought some equipment, you know, like you've got a field. So I'm happy with the fields. Yeah, I mean, I'm moving to Frankenmuth, and Frankenmuth is a massive, massive American map. I'm just hoping it's not too big for the game. FS25, yeah, little bits. Yeah, I mean, also the other thing is I'm going to be heavily using my mods, as I have done on Calmston. Now this wants to go in the actual, yeah, I've got to be honest, it's our production is, the cannery is a bit of a beast, it is. I mean, it's good because we've gone through quite a few months to make it do what it's done, but it really is doing very well. For saying the scale of like the vegetables that we're putting in, it really is very, very good what we've actually managed to do. So where we've come from and where we are now. Alright, fantastic. I think I'm going to leave it there, and then I'm going to do, yeah, because I'm trying to do anything interesting like this, or where what we did in the session, to leave it to that bit that is in the end of the session. So yeah, all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey, and I'm going to say goodbye for now.